Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about a show that I love. You may have heard of it. It's called Rick and Morty. Covers my head to ignore the screams. Yeah, so this is a pretty mainstream show. I actually started watching it in 2015. My brother watched it when it first came out, and he was trying to get anyone that would listen into it, and finally I broke down and I was fine, let's watch it. And I was instantly obsessed. I literally would watch it while I was doing my makeup. I would watch it if I had nothing else to put on. Those first two seasons I know the back of my hand. And obviously, any other shows, there are a couple episodes there here and there that I don't really like, that I'm not a big fan of, but for the most part I want to say a good 80% of the episodes I loved. They were very good. They were very well thought out. Every single line was a joke, or you have to watch the show very closely to see any references to anything. You have to listen very closely. You can't just half pay attention and listen. And even after you've watched the video essays, you want to go back and rewatch it so that you can catch the reference yourself as well. It's a very good show like that. I love watching shows and movies that are like that. My thoughts on season 1 and 2 are that they were very well thought out. I think that they were very interesting. You can tell that the writers were very meticulous. Even with season 3 and even with the 2 episodes of season 4 that I've seen, the writers are very meticulous and very much look into every single thing that they do. I remember for their Thunderdome, Blood Dome, the dystopian episode, the writer was talking about how every single person in the background was designed differently, and she was yeah, that's harder for me, but it's what makes the show better. And if they had lazy people working on it, it wouldn't be as amazing as it is. But I am going to say that I do hold the majority opinion that season 3 was kind of a letdown. I don't think that it was a bad season. I don't think it was. If it was just, I think it's because there was such a long wait for it. You had to wait a year and a half or something, and you just sat there. You were waiting for it, and I guess they just got the expectations way too high, and then people were kind of let down afterwards. There are a lot of good episodes, a lot of good throwaway filler episodes where you just watch them for crazy sci-fi adventures. And I love the whirly-dirly conspiracy. I love the last episode. I know this is kind of an unpopular opinion. I love the last episode. I like the story of Rick and Morty trolling the president. I didn't like how it ended, and I didn't like its placement. And I did watch a couple interviews where that wasn't really supposed to be the last episode, and it's it's a bunch of different things. The tug of war between Rick and the president was really interesting, especially because he is this all-knowing kind of person. He's the smartest person in the universe, and the president of America is the leader of the free world, and it's this whole fight that clearly, it's this whole difficult dynamic that they clearly have to deal with because of their two conflicting roles. Very interesting, very cool, but obviously the placement of it was very it was not good. Season 3 just felt completely different from season 1 and 2, and a lot of people like to blame it on female writers, which I think is complete bullshit. Women can write just as well as men, and that's not because I also have a vagina. It's because it's the truth. Men can't, the fact that you have a penis doesn't make the fact that you can write, doesn't make it that you can write better. So let's just get that out of the way. Weird. Also, I should mention that I'm just some random person. Please do not take these opinions. These are opinions. I am a really stupid person. Do not listen to me. I'm just putting my feelings out there on the internet because there's so many Rick and Morty videos, and I thought, why not contribute to them? But it's just it's weird. The character development was weird. In the beginning of season 3, Morty, like, obviously after like all this time with Rick, he becomes a little bit more intelligent, he becomes smarter, and you see that in season 3, you also see it in season 4, and I do actually appreciate it. But Morty becomes more vindictive, and obviously I don't expect him to be the same wide-eyed kid that he was in season 1, but he becomes like more evil, and you can see these evil seeds growing in him. And Beth, she becomes really obsessed with pleasing Rick, which, like, I think that was handled really well, because you could see in season 1 and 2 she was like begging for crumbs of his approval, and then like now that she like got a taste where she like is divorcing her husband because of her father, she's like obsessed and she needs it. And they even have like the ABCs of Beth, which is an episode where it's focused, the A plot is based on Rick and Beth, where Beth is kind of has this realization that, oh, I idealized him and I shouldn't have, and it's like a realization she needs to have. And I think like they were going down a good path, and then like the whole clone thing happened where she like starts freaking out and thinking she's a clone, which that whole thing happens, which is completely different. Oh, and this is just like an off point, but when I was watching the Rick and Morty trailer, they had that like one clip, I'm gonna insert it here.
That's the end of the Morty Gets a Dragon experiment.
Are you gonna slay it?
First off, I always slay it, Queen. Secondly, yes.
I hated that. That made me cringe. It was so bad. Like, I hated that. You know, like a lot of Rick and Morty's references are a little bit obscure, a little bit more difficult, and then him saying that, just imagine your grandpa saying, I don't know, it was like, it seemed like something that was very much to cater towards like the mainstream, and I just, it made me like want to shrivel up and die. There was also like Rick's lack of confidence in season 3. That was like a big issue that I had. I was kind of just like, why was he just blubbering around? I think one of the main appeals of Rick is that he's this all-knowing being. He is the smartest man in the universe. He shouldn't ever be in a position where he doesn't know what's happening, especially because he's spent all this time traveling the universe. You know what's going on. And then there's like that one, like, what's that line where he's like, I'm getting railroaded here, and I'm just like, dude, like, what is going on? You shouldn't get railroaded. You're Rick Sanchez. That's the whole appeal of you. That's why people like you, because you're like all-knowing, you're always right, and you always know what's going on. You also make people think about it. It's like when Morty's saying, like, you know, the only thing you know when you're around Rick is what's right is wrong and what's whatever, like everything is upside down. And here's the thing. The nice thing was in season 1 and 2, Rick had this kind of ever-present knowledge. He had like this bird's eye view. He was able to, I feel like you could tell that his thinking was that of a chess game, where he's like, if I do this, this and this is gonna happen. If I do that, this and this is gonna happen. But in season 3, it became a lot more sporadic, it became a lot more unplanned, and it just felt out of character for him. But sandwiched in between all of these complaints, I have to say the Rick Lantis mix-up. Oh my god, so freaking good. I don't think I've ever seen anything as good as that before. It makes me tear up, and I honestly can't watch that episode anymore without like getting butterflies in my stomach. Like, I'm speechless. I can't. That episode just, it was so good. Moment of silence for how good it was. I do want to state, among all this, I would have been fine if there was no character development, but like there is like subtle character development throughout the seasons, as like mostly exemplified through Morty. I feel like you see Morty, he was this. If you watch season 1, episode 1, he's like this little wide-eyed boy. He doesn't know what's going on. And then you watch season 3, and it's like when he greets Kiara, Jerry's alien girlfriend. He greets her, and he like already knows what race she is. He's like catching on, and he's becoming more intelligent. And so there is like some sort of character development. But honestly, I would have been fine if it was like SpongeBob, where it was just every episode is a different episode, and it's just like a bunch of wacky sci-fi adventures. But I feel like they had trouble balancing the two, and that's why it was so difficult. Episode 1 and 2 of season 4 were pretty good. They were really different. I was like, not that I knew what I was expecting, but I didn't. They were good episodes. They were good throwaway episodes. I like the Rick and Jerry I like the Morty and Jerry dynamic, because it's starting to kind of simulate Rick and Morty's like old dynamic, and I'm wondering if like Morty is ever gonna realize that he's treating his dad the way that Rick kind of treats him. I mean, Rick still has that love in him for Morty. He like, you can see that when he like protects Morty when they're getting shot at in the first episode over the death stones or death crystals. I really just want to know what happened to Rick's wife and Beth's mom. I really hope they address that, because I just need to know. I think that's everything. Again, I'm really stupid. This show is not for me. I am not the demographic for this show. And honestly, I don't care about this show as much. Oh, one other thing I do want to talk about is the fandom. Dear God, the fandom sucks. That kid at, what is it called, McDonald's, who threw that tantrum because they ran out of Szechuan sauce. The fact that they now sell Szechuan sauce at McDonald's because of the show is ridiculous. And honestly, I like want to disassociate with them. It's so bad. And I can't believe another human being would treat another human being like that. But yeah. Anyway, like I was saying, I'm really stupid. Don't take what I have to say seriously, because that would be really dumb. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.